services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Scotty Jett.
What's up guys, this is DJ Zach.
Hey guys, you're out with Ambler.
Rock Titan Live on W4CY Radio. Tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
And you're listening to Rock Titan Live.
W4CY Radio.
You are listening to Rock Titan Live.
Tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to Rock Titan Live.
Tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
This is Scotty J.
DJ Zachy D.
Out with
Rock
Ambler.
Titan Live on W4CY Radio.
I'm Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan Live. It is Tuesday, January 14th. We've got an awesome show for you today. First, I would like to introduce our lady behind the boards down in Florida. D, how are you doing, my lady?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing quite well. And I got to tell you something right now. We've got a very, very fun guest. We've got a very fun guest with us. We caught up a couple years ago at Rock Allegiance in Philadelphia, and oh man, he had to be one of the most entertaining guests I have ever had on my show, ever. And I don't want to waste a whole lot of time because we got a lot to talk about. But you ready for some rock and roll today, D? You ready to talk some real rock and roll with a guy who absolutely rocks?
I am. You know, funny story real quick. I actually met a dude at Fort Rock, which is like part of the energy, Monster Energy Productions, but they unfortunately no longer have it here. But I know a guy that traveled to Philly to go to Rock Allegiance. So he probably was there the same time you were. Just funny story.
All right, yeah, no, that's cool. That's very cool. But yeah, I mean, Rock Allegiance is one of those awesome Danny Wimmer, events. Yeah, it's one of those productions, and it's cool. It's very, very cool.
Okay, so let's stop yapping and let's get to this rockin' interview.
Yeah, all right. So everybody, without further ado, I got Tuck Smith on the line with us from the Restless Hearts. Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts. Of course, you know him formerly from Biters because, well, that's the last time we caught up with him. But Tuck, what's going on, my man?
Oh, buddy, thank you for having me.
Yes, indeedy. And what was that? Last time you and I actually caught up and we were talking? It was, oh God, what? Come as a drink.
Well, yeah.
I was not prepared for that. But you broke my cherry, man. You broke my cherry, so to speak. But yeah, man.
I watched that interview online. I was mortified.
What?
Well, the thing is, we played somewhere the night before that show. So I literally drove after we played all night without sleeping, and then took an Adderall, and then played at noon, and then started drinking. So by the time I was on your interview, I was just acting like a fucking jackass. So.
No, dude, it was fun. But I guess, I don't know who it was. I guess we might have been busting on your drummer at the time.
Yeah.
You know, because I guess he got arrested or something like that. You guys had...
won the big rock festival in Arkansas, and he went to jail and we missed it. So.
Oh, man. Oh my God. Well, everybody that's listening to Mr. Tuck Smith on Rock Titan Live right now on W4CY Radio, if you would like to watch instead of just listen, just go out to W4CY.com and click on Talk for TV, and you'll be able to watch everything that's going on right now. And yeah, man. Well, you look the same, Tuck. You know, you haven't aged a bit. You know, looks like your health is all intact. Life is good. Yeah.
Life is good now, yes.
All right. Yeah, I know that, because we became Facebook friends anyway, shortly after Rock Allegiance, because I knew I had to stay in touch with you, man. I knew I had to stay in touch. And I just loved what you had going on with Biters. I didn't know that, things were going to be coming to an end because, I mean, that was a band that you put together, and you guys were together for a long time, man.
Yeah, it was... without getting into too much details of what happened, it really sucked. and it was hard. And after the band, put it on hiatus, I honestly had no idea what the fuck I was going to do. And as far as a plan as I had was, I just wanted to make a solo record just for the fuck of it, even if I just did it myself. So on my deathbed, I would know that I just had this piece of art. So going into it, the intentions were very, very pure. And I was just, I just started writing, and then one thing led to another, and now I'm here. So life is weird, man.
Right on. But so Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts. I mean, this is a whole new project that you got going on. When did you actually start this? Because, of course, we all saw the official music video, which I'm going to be sharing with everybody out there. Killer video, by the way, and you sound as good as ever. But how long have you had this solo project of yours going now?
Well, during the time that Biters we were going through some legal things.
Okay.
So I knew it was going to come to an end. And so I just started formulating, like, I want to put a solo record out, but I didn't have a band. So I met the guy that produced my record, Rob Cavallo. He's done everybody, Green Day, Goo Goo Dolls, My Chemical Romance. He met my manager. My manager said, "Hey, are you looking for a rock and roll guy to produce?" And Cavallo's basically like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I got this guy from the band Biters." And I think Rob was pretty familiar with Biters. And he goes, "Cool." And they stayed in touch. So I ended up just meeting Rob Cavallo out in LA. And I went to his house and I just played him a bunch of new songs I'd written on acoustic, just me. And he was like, "Fuck, man, that is great. Play it again." And so I played him a bunch of the material, just kind of acoustic. And we kind of developed a relationship. And at some point he goes, "Listen, man, I really want to make your record. Go find somebody to put it out."
Wow.
And it was a whole other thing. So, but during this time, I started producing a lot of other bands' records for income to stay busy. So I was in the studio a shit ton, 2018, 17,
Okay.
really produced a lot of other bands. And I wrote like 40 songs for this record. A lot of fucking tunes for this. I never put so much work into something in my life because
Wow.
I had to stay busy or I would go crazy. Because the band I had for almost a decade was gone. I'm trying to find a new identity, and you're kind of in between your new path without any plan. So I just started writing as much as I could to fill my time, and it worked out really good. So I'm glad.
Yeah, Tuck, I would say it did. You know what? And it's so funny because, it's funny how you're talking about, being the, singer, songwriter, just ultimate, musician, rocker that you are. You talk about these things behind the scenes and everything that you're going through mentally and emotionally, and of course, everyone on the outside, your fan base, they don't know, unless you're spouting off the gums, on Twitter and Facebook, social media at large, unless you're one of the people that, puts your whole life out there, no one would be any the wiser. So, from the outside looking in, I can say, just as a fan, of yours, I would have never known that you had any kind of reservations or, anxieties over what was going to happen next, because just knowing you and your music and your talent and everything like that, I would have had no question in the world that you were going to land on your own 2 feet. But here you are, not knowing what is going to come next, which is just, it's kind of wild, the kind of things you take for granted. I think people look at, folks like yourself and they just think life's great. It's just a cakewalk. It's all gravy. Like the words are just flowing off the end of your pen, pencil, keyboard, whatever as you're writing songs, and that there's never going to be any issues. There's never any concerns about tomorrow. But that's not necessarily true. I mean, you feel that anxiety, I guess, over what's next regularly, yeah?
I think, yeah. To me, personally, my view with artists in rock and roll, I think it's time just to be more interested in the truth and what your intentions are. So, I mean, one of the magic of rock and roll is the illusion of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, the illusion, right. Yeah, because everybody cares.
I mean, Mick Jagger, he probably practiced in the mirror a whole fucking lot, his moves. Prince probably spent thousands of hours tweaking mixes and stuff. So
Right.
I would assume my rock and roll heroes and idols were very, very obsessed and hyper-focused. Because I think that's what it takes to be great. So with this project, I'm just trying to be as truthful as possible, and real and as authentic as possible. Because, you know, there's a lot of bullshit online, and fake bullshit with the internet. So I'm just kind of so sick of it. I would rather just tell the truth. So yeah, in all reality, man, it was really not glamorous. Towards the end of Biters, it was really, really hard. I had a lot of soul searching to do, and truly blessed to be back in the situation that I'm in. And I feel like there's really there's some justice in the universe, because I worked so fucking hard, and I had this like come to Jesus moment, I would say, that I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? And I just kept working and kept my head down and kept grinding. And now I'm in like a really good position. I'm very blessed, truly humbled by it. So.
Well, I'm definitely glad you found your way back. Now, I'm just curious, and, you know, I guess this is for, you know, not just Tuck Smith's fans, but, you know, Biters fans as well, you know, because I'm sure that, you know, the front man, the maestro, you know, that you are, you know, keeping the legacy alive. Is there anything specific, you know, because again, you know, Biters was, you know, you were with them, that was your baby for a long time. Is there anything specific that you took away from that experience that you're applying to Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts? Anything specific that you learned that like you would never do again, or anything that you're doing differently?
Yeah, I mean, that experience, I learned so much from that. And you got to be careful what you wish for.
Right on.
From that. Because when I was with Biters, I was trying to appease like a very small niche cult fan base, but I also wanted to be very, very big. And I don't know if you can have it both. So when I was going to make this record, my goal was the intention to write songs that need to be played in arenas. And so going into it, the essence of writing this record was for it to be a really big, cool rock and roll record that could have mass appeal but still staying true. And I don't know if I was able to do that with Biters, because we had such a niche kind of cult following. And when Biters started getting outside of the little clubs and outside of the kind of punk rock and roll scene, and we were taking bigger tours, my core fan base would call me a sellout, a core on, you've lost touch. But really, I just wanted to spread the word, like everybody. So it was really weird. So I kind of just said, I don't give a fuck.
Right on, man. Right on.
Kind of
well, it's funny you're talking about tours and packing arenas, because that is a perfect segue for something that I really want to talk to you a lot about, man. Because, you know, I got friendly with Rick Allen from Def Leppard. Of course, he is the legendary drummer. And, I mean, I covered them over their tour right before they went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then all of a sudden, you know, The Dirt comes out with Motley Crue, and now Motley Crue's got the itch, you know, to get back out there and tour again. And then all of a sudden, this whole tour gets thrown together with Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and Poison, you know, Bret Michaels and company. And then all of a sudden, I see, just the other day, Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts. Dude, kudos and congratulations for landing on that ticket, dude.
That shit is wild, isn't it?
How geeked out of your mind are you, man? I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Listen, when I thought I was gonna get the Kiss tour, and I was really close to get it, and I would lay in bed every fucking night for months with my eyes closed, visualizing playing on huge stages in front of tons of people. And I was like trying to do some fucking magic in my brain to get an arena tour, and we didn't get the Kiss tour. I was super bummed. And 3 days later, I got the call that we were getting the Motley Crue Def Leppard tour.
Oh, man.
Dude, I could not believe it, because I put so much mental and spiritual energy into getting this fucking Kiss tour. And I was crushed. And then like 72 hours, I got called and said, Nikki just signed off on you. being on the tour.
Wow.
So dude, it was like I almost cried. It was like a spiritual moment. It felt fucking crazy.
Oh my God! I'll tell you what, Tuck. If you grew like a little soul patch, man, you might look like Nikki Sixx a bit. You know, like back in the day, dude. You know.
You know what I've been getting everywhere I go? I've been getting David Cassidy.
Oh no, man! Oh God, no!
Oh, God damn it!
You know, no, I'll give you the Nikki Sixx, you know? I mean, in his younger years, you know? Because those guys, they got some work to do. I mean, you've stayed in shape, you know? Obviously, you look good, you know? You're perfect for a front man. Molly Cruz got a little, I guess I heard they got some personal trainers and dietitians and all that stuff just so they can fit back into their tight leather spandex and all that good stuff, you know?
Listen, somebody told me some of the rules for rock and roll. This is all with aging.
All right.
Stay fresh, stay skinny. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what they told me.
Yeah. I would imagine that's yeah. I mean, because who wants to be a big fat slob up on stage? You know. I mean, come on, man.
Meatloaf.
Oh God. Well, so you know, when it comes to Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and all those guys, had you ever worked or toured at any capacity with any of those musicians before? Like, had you ever been on like, well, you know, kind of like Rock Allegiance, any of the Danny Wimmer stuff? Like, was there any big like festivals that you had at least performed at where you kind of saw any of those guys in passing, or is this literally going to be your first time in the presence of greatness?
I've never met any of these guys that are on tour. Well, Joan Jett, I've seen her in passing, being behind stage with Cheap Trick and things like that. But
okay.
I think the only connection I have with any of them is when a Biters record came out, Electric Blood. Nikki Sixx was kind of championing that on his radio show.
Oh, nice.
But I don't even know if he knew it was me. I'm just super excited to meet him. I heard they're all really great guys. So.
Yeah, no, oh my God, that's insane. And I'm sorry I left out Joan Jett because she's on that tour too. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, yeah?
I love her.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I got to catch up with her in Boston some years back, in Philadelphia too. That was, oh God, she still sounds awesome, you know. And I mean, of course, she was, you know, one of the first real, you know, lady rockers, you know. I mean, she kind of broke that glass ceiling, so to speak, you know. I mean, she was one of, you know, a few, you know, but I mean, she was definitely there in the beginning, so that's really, really cool. Now, when does this start? Just so everybody can really start honing in here. I mean, get your tickets now, folks. I mean, if they're not already sold out. When do you kick off the tour with these guys?
I think it's June 21st.
Okay, all right. So we're looking closer to the summertime. All right. That makes sense. So, so we just checked out this new music video of yours, you know, that literally you just put out the other day. That is all part of, I guess, what is going to be your new album with the Restless Hearts?
Yep. We have another video in the can, but it wasn't the first single. And during the making of this last video, we got confirmed for the tour, so it was really exciting. But I make the videos with my buddy Raheem. I've only made videos with him, and the whole team is put together here in Atlanta. And I wrote and produced the video. I love being hands-on. And it was definitely the biggest production that I've been a part of making my videos. So I'm pretty stoked how it turned out. Did you know we were supposed to be the wedding band or not? Most people didn't.
No. But, you know, it's funny because, you know, I mean, you talk about the videos, you know, and just the quality of the production, you know, that you have been really solid, you know, and being consistent with that. Because I know with Biters, you had a bunch of music videos, and I mean, they were all top notch. I mean, it's none of my business, you know, what your budget was or where that came from, how you did all that. But I mean, there wasn't a single video that you put out where you would say, oh man, you know, like they must have got a friendship discount on that, you know, like that was low quality, you know, so like something I would put together myself. You know, all your stuff is really top notch. So, you know, with another one that you got in the can right now that you're talking about, when can we expect this new album? Do we have any kind of a release date planned for this?
So I think that the tentative plan is they're going to put out singles every 6 to 8 weeks leading up to the tour.
Okay.
And so around the start of the tour, my whole album.
Okay.
I have like so many singles. This is going to be like a greatest hits album. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's wild. So, all right, so you literally are looking at putting this out like more in a as a digital type of offering.
I think up until the tour, once the full album release, there'll be vinyl and that shit, all that kind of stuff. So.
All right. Now, is there anything in particular about this tour? And again, everybody, we are here with Tuck Smith, and he's got his new solo band, Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts. And I'm Scotty J, and you're listening to W4CY Radio Rock Titan Live. But so as far as heading out on tour with all these guys, playing all this amazing new music that you have written, anything in particular that you're looking forward to? Anything that, you kind of want to check off on that bucket list of yours?
I think this record, I got done with it in March. So
Okay.
it's kind of been sitting here. So I'm so excited just to get the motherfucker released.
Right on, man.
And start working again. And we've been playing dates around the Southeast and things, but I'm super excited to go back to Europe because Biters were definitely kind of building a following over there. Super excited to go back to the UK. And I'm more excited about just getting a real fucking shot this time. So I'm just stoked, man.
Yeah, dude, I feel you. That's awesome. Tuck, I am so damn happy for you, man. Really.
Thank you.
Honestly. Well, one thing I kind of want to get your take on, because, obviously we're talking about, the present and the future, and all the excitement that you have going on. Obviously, you've had a lot of influence in your career, though, that's got you to where you are today. And just in this past week alone, we lost a legend, man, that is someone that, had to have influenced your work a little bit. I mean, I'm talking about Rush's Neil Peart, who just passed away. You happen to be a Rush fan at all?
Of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sound like Geddy Lee.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you lose artists like this, it's like, oh my God, like, am I really that old, that I'm starting to lose all these legends, these icons, that have been playing with us and stuff like that. But do you particularly have any specific memories of Rush or any particular favorite song that made you really want to be the rock star you are today?
Well, I mean, as much I dig Rush, but I just listen to classic rock radio growing up on it.
Right on, man.
So a bunch of killer riffs, and I'm definitely a fan. But I think the thing is, all the rock icons now are starting to die, and it's really kind of dawning on people that there's got to be some new ones in the mix to kind of carry on the legacy. And I think that's one of the reasons I got this tour. I think big promoters and booking agencies and labels are realizing that once there aren't the Def Leppards or the Rushes or the Tom Petty's around or the Bowies, who are going to be able to fill these stadiums and arenas.
Right.
So I think we're going to start seeing actual rock and roll artists, not label created boy band shit, but actual real artists. I think we're going to start seeing those get their shot on the world stage, which is really great. It's been long overdue.
Yeah, man, it's different, It is a whole new age now, I mean, you almost have to wonder, like, for a lot of the bands that were as big as they were, had they started out, in the landscape like you did, kind of like in the, in the new millennium, certainly, with this whole digital age upon us, and stuff like that, would they have been able to experience the same success that they had starting out back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, like you almost wonder if, if they never might have even been, because of everything. Because I think about that a lot for, guys like yourself, musicians out there today. It is so hard to make a living, as a musician, because it's not like everything is just based off record sales anymore, even with digital sales and all the different airplay that you get and stuff like that. It's just not the same. I mean, you guys are really dependent on touring and your merch. Yeah?
100%.
Man.
I don't think like the artists we're talking about, like the great legacy artists, I don't think they would make it today because labels aren't giving artists a chance to develop. Like, Mellencamp didn't break for multiple albums. Bowie didn't really get big till, like, I think Let's Dance in the States. He was big in the UK, but a lot of these artists had to really develop. And now, because there's not as much money, if the first single doesn't pop, you're dropped. And so what's happening, they have to make sure these first singles pop off if you're doing it on a big scale. So they'll end up sending bands to several pop writers. And so what's happening, you're getting songs that aren't really written through the artist's voice and experience. And so then you're getting a less nutritious form of art. It's just like McDonald's or some shit. So I think it's really important to develop artists and let the artist have his own voice so everything doesn't sound like cookie cutter bullshit. I think what makes my record different is because the label I signed to, Alan Kovac, is really a big proponent on kind of saying fuck you to the industry standards and saying I'm sick of this cookie cutter bullshit. He completely rebranded his label. He did not get in my business at all when I made the record. He let me do my thing. He didn't try to change me. He didn't go, this is what's hot now. We need to make this. And I think that's really, really important to create artists. So,
right on. I know we're talking about Better Noise Music, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what a label, man. You got a lot of great company there with you.
Yeah, and they're doing they just did a whole new rebrand. I know they signed to AWOL Nation, and I think they're kind of using me as the, not the guinea pig, but the artist that's like, listen, this doesn't really sound like anything going on right now, but this needs to be the new standard of the industry. Let artists be different. Let them sound different, which is really cool, and I'm excited because it fits right in with my ethics. So.
Yeah, man. Well, again, Tuck, I'm very excited for you. And again, everybody, we are here with Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts, and they are going to be going out on tour this spring with Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, and Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. Man, that is awesome, and be looking for some new singles from these guys every 6 to 8 weeks. And when can we expect this next music video of yours?
Hey, listen, man. Sorry I wasn't drunk this interview. It's only noon. Last time I was fucked up. And you wanted me that crazy, but I can't right now. But next time I see you, me and you are going to act like fools.
We're going to have to imbibe a little bit, maybe, you know. We'll get a sponsor. We'll get a proper sponsor, and, we'll have to show it, on the camera, and, I'll collect some royalties from that. But I'm drying out, man. I'm actually trying to dry out, Tuck. When I caught you at Rock Allegiance, I might have actually had a few in me. I don't know what kind of shape I was actually in, but I don't think I was 100% necessarily. I was a little wild. At least that's what I saw in all the comments from all the videos that I had put out there. But I am 2 weeks dry right now, my friend. I have not had a sip of alcohol since New Year's Eve.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man. Well, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, you want to be skinny, I mean, thin is in, I mean, I'm not, I don't rock the curves very well, I got a curvy stature, and that's not working for me, man. I want to look more like you, dude. I want to look more like you. Although what I got on top, that's never coming back. There's nothing I can do about that. But I can do something about this, So we'll see, but that's part of my motivation. It wasn't necessarily a New Year's resolution per se. I just wanted to try to get healthy, look better, feel better, the whole 9 yards. Speaking of New Year's, what about you, man? You got anything other than this tour coming up? But did you have any specific goals for 2020 that you wanted to achieve beyond the tour and obviously your new music coming out? Maybe something on a more personal nature?
The career stuff, putting out my record and getting a really big tour was definitely one of the main things I wanted to manifest. But I just want my record to do good and hope people like it and hope people understand it for what it is.
Right on, man.
That's all. I just, every artist puts blood and sweat into their work. They just want people to dig it.
Yeah.
That's all. Just trying to stay focused, stay humble, make sure that I treat people good, and the biggest problem, man, is I got to change is I flip out and act like a little bitch and write emails, and then I regret them 5 minutes later. So I got to have patient, and not blow off the fucking handle. That's my big.
Never act out of anger, man. Never act out of anger. You know, it's never a good thing. Never a good thing. I've probably burned myself more than a couple of times because of that. But you know, before I let you go though, Tuck, I know you got to get going, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. But D, I got to talk to D down there in Florida. I mean, you know, you can chime in, D. You're allowed to just talk. You can interrupt. You can cut me off if you want. Is there anything specific that you're interested in talking to Tuck about? Anything you want to know?
I mean, you pretty much covered everything. I'm excited to, I'm not a very big rock fan, like new rock, but I'm a huge Motley Crue fan. Love Motley Crue. I know I sound very young. I'm 29. I'll be 29 this year. I grew up with, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, White Snake, the whole shebang. My mom was definitely an 80s hair metal baby. I definitely pulled more of her in me. So I love doing shows like this where I get to be introduced to new rock. Like, I went to Fort Rock 3-4 years ago. My boss, who owns the station, Dean, made me go to Fort Rock. Never been to a rock show a day in my life. I had no idea who anybody was in this lineup, but we had Five Finger Death Punch, Rob Zombie. I heard of Rob Zombie, and I know like one or two Rob Zombie songs. Who else was on that bill? I'm just trying to think. And I fell in love with the rock scene at that point in time. I actually met a dude at a rock concert. We were doing our thing for a little bit, and then I kept going back every year. And I just started gaining more and more love for the rock culture. Like, one of my favorite bands is In This Moment. Love In This Moment. I think she's a badass.
Oh, Maria Brink. Oh, God. She's awesome, man.
So I'm so excited to hear your new album, hear your music, and, have a new favorite artist to add to my rock collection.
Well, I'll tell you what, D, you should go back and check out some of what Biters did. That's Biters. Go check out what Tuck was doing with them, because that was some great music, and there's no reason to believe that the Restless Hearts aren't going to be even better. But, yeah, it's funny you talked about Maria Brink there real quick, because I think back at Rock Allegiance, I'm pretty certain that In This Moment, they were there. They were at that one. And then Hailstorm, they were on that. That was a great concert, man.
Yeah,
are you doing some Danny Wimmer stuff this year, Tuck? Is that in the plans?
I know that my agent is pushing for it.
Okay.
Hopefully we get some of those festivals, March, April, May, all that. I would love to.
Well, I got to see you out here in Philly, but you're down there in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do shows before the tour, so hopefully we'll get up there before.
Yeah, man. Well, if you don't get up north, I'm gonna have to come down south. I need to get on the road here, man. I'm such a homebody. I got to get out of the studio. I got to get out of Rock Titan Studios here. It's like, the only time I feel like I'm traveling is when I got some foreign destination on my green screen here. That's like as close as I get to actually transporting myself away anywhere. But
You get the fuck out.
I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna crash at your pad. What do you think?
Got a guest room, man, but you got to be cool with two dogs sleeping in the bed with you.
Hey, man, it's all good. My German Shepherd sleeps with me every night.
Okay.
And then I got my other dog, my wife, she's sleeping next to me. I was going to whip out the word, but I'm like, you know what? I better not do that. That wouldn't be cool. You know where I'm going now,
Rich. Anymore.
Yeah, no, can't. I wouldn't throw that out there. That's not how I would describe her. Nah, she's my rock. She's my anchor. She, keeps me in check from doing anything I'd ultimately regret. But, all right, Tuck. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Rock Titan Live. And it was awesome catching up with you again, man. And I cannot wait to see you out on the tour trail. We will definitely catch up wherever that may be. And, dude, again, congratulations. Congratulations on everything you've got going on with your new solo band. And everybody, go check them out. What's the best place, Tuck? Your website, Better Noise Records, all your, anything you have going on out there? Well, I guess you only have the single out there right now, right?
just make sure you don't relapse and punch another hole through your door.
Yeah.
You're more
Oh man. Oh my God. Too funny. Too funny.
mad as fuck.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time we're gonna party. Next time I have you on, it's gonna be like the man show. You know, we'll have some girls on trampolines, and you know, we'll have fluids flowing and all that good stuff. Sound like a plan?
Dicks out, hair fucking wild.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, Tuck, thanks again, man. Everybody, Tuck
Thank
Smith
you.
and the Restless Hearts. And, yeah, go check him out online. Just Google TUK Smith. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, buddy.
Right on, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Later. All right, everybody. So that was, again, Tuck Smith. Oh, D, that was fun. That was too much fun. I'll tell you what. I love that guy. Oh, man. First time we ever caught up, it was crazy. Lost her there. All right. D, you there? Oh, of course I cut you off. How could I not cut you off, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you are like brand new to Skype when it comes to your show.
You know, seriously, what the hell am I doing?
All you literally had to do was right click on his little person.
Well, I told you, I have something new going on now. I have a new setup. So, you know, I had my screen split in such a way where I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. So I lost you.
Well, I improvised for a second. I'm just like, this is such a good show. If we could get Scotty J back.
Yeah, well, you know, fortunately, technology being what it is, you know, you're able to hop right back in there with me. So,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm on my feet.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But so, what's the weather like down there right now in Florida? It's crappy up here.
Okay, so you want me to be like honest with you right now? Hold on. Let me.
You gotta look. Do you have a window? Do you have a window in the studio there?
Yes, I had to open up the blinds. All right, so if you're looking at the window, the right side of the complex is very cloudy. And the left side of the complex, I could probably crack a beer and go to the beach.
Really?
I'm not joking. Like, it looks like death to the right and like beach to the left. And that's Florida for you. Okay, so, all right, so I want to do some commentary on the interview that you just did with Tuck.
Okay. All right, give it to me. Let me have it. What'd you think of it?
So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think he's going to be one of my new faves, and I'm going to add him to my my phone. But Joan Jett. All right, so I have a story about Joan Jett.
Oh, please share.
All right, I love Joan Jett. Joan Jett and the Black. I just love Joan Jett, period.
Her and I were born in the same hospital.
That's amazing. I love Joan Jett and the Runaways, and I love Joan Jett and the Black Hearts. Most people don't know that, you know, Joan Jett first started in the Runaways, but you know what? They're all idiots. I mean, they're not idiots. I'm like 29 years old. I got an old soul when it comes to music. Like, you know, Dean one time asked me to, you know, come up with a love song, and I picked Sonny and Cher, I Got You, Babe. And he just looked at me like, out of all the love songs, that's the first one that came to your mind? I was like, yeah, man, it's a classic.
You're on the brink of being an old maid. I'll tell you what.
Oh my God. Yeah, so Joan Jett. Me and Dean were working this festival. And Joan Jett was on the bill, and I got to see Joan Jett for the first time. She, hands down, amazing. But back to my story. Because what you said about her triggered me. So my mom's boyfriend was watching something, and Stevie Nicks was on there. I think he was watching like American Horror Stories, The Coven, where she's like a big participant in it. And so he was just like, oh yeah, Stevie Nicks, you know, paved the way for women in rock and roll. And I literally sat there and looked at him and was like, shut the fuck up. You literally just said the dumbest thing that's ever been said in history. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, no. Not saying Stevie Nicks isn't amazing, because your girl loves her some freaking Stevie Nicks. But it was definitely Joan Jett that paved the way for women in rock and roll. We had an argument about it, and he was just looking at me like I was a retard. I was like, Joan Jett was way before Stevie Nicks. He's like, no way. I was like, 100%. Stevie Nicks was more like late 60s, early 70s. And he's like, no. I was like, bro, Google that shit.
Oh,
And
man. It took the man to school.
I did. And Mr. Rock himself, he's like, okay, touche, touche. My mom looked at him and said, listen, when it comes to old music and hair bands, I would trust D.
Yeah.
And it's accurate. Like, I really do, I love my hair bands. And I don't care. I get made fun of all the time because I love hair bands. But listen, hair bands is what made me. And I love the 80s. Anything 80s, I thoroughly enjoy. And I feel like I was born at the wrong time. I grew up in the 90s. Sucks because I love all of the 90s, the 80s stuff. So with that said, I definitely enjoyed his look because I went through an emo phase too. I didn't dress like it. I just listened to My Chemical Romance and Cute Is What I Aim For, all these emo bands back in high school, and he reminded me of Cute Is What I Aim For. But I'm sure he's like a very darker version of Cute Is What I Aim For, which I love. I'm excited to listen to his stuff.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I can't wait to hear, what his new solo band, Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts puts out, because they only do have the one out there right now, I believe. But, like I said, I mean, he was with Biters for, 10 years, so he's got a huge catalog with that band. And those guys are great. I mean, go check them out. I think you'll like it. I mean, just knowing your music preference and the kind of music that you like, Biters was really a great band. And I'm just so happy, that Tuck is still going strong, It's wild, I mean, you hear about some of these artists, and it's like, one project comes to an end and it's like, oh my God, is this it? Like, what am I going to do now? But, I mean, it's part of your soul. It's part of who they are. It's in their DNA. You just know they're going to keep on going, and whatever they do is going to be great. And I know he's definitely in that mold. So, it's good to see. But, I mean, yeah.
A fan has got to be a fan no matter what. I mean,
sure.
You being a Philly fan, you definitely know that if you're a fan, you got to die for a fan.
Well, I tell you what, we feel it deeply, We feel it deeply, In Philly, when we get attached to, our teams and our bands, it is like, oh my God, I mean, it's a tight relationship, and you feel everything real personally. It's like whatever happens to them, you feel like it is personally happening to you. You know,
that is accurate because my sister's fiance is a die-hard Steelers fan. Like, he's got the Steelers logo tatted on his arm with each champion, with each Super Bowl that they won. He got the numeral numbers that the Super Bowl that they won. And I'm telling you, I've never seen a grown man pout more. Like, his entire life is ruined, and he gets mad that we pick on him. I'm just like, bro, but you set yourself up because you go pout in the corner like a 5-year-old.
Oh, I'm ludicrous. I'm glad my football season is over because, man, like, again, I'm trying to detox, if you will,
Yeah.
and that was not helping me at all. So now I can, I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can tell you right now, Dave, between now and, my next birthday this summer, I'm hoping, everybody get ready for this one. My goal is to drop 60 pounds.
And you know what? I want to tell you something. All right. I have to say something, and it's going to be very hostile with you, Scotty J.
It's okay.
Just because I don't like the way you portray yourself when you sit there and go, oh, skinny is who it's about. That's not necessarily true. What do you see on the internet mostly? All these women posting about dad bods.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great unless you have one. It's great unless you're living with it. I gotta tell you, I'm ready to shed my dad bod. Let me tell you, I got dad bod times 2.
Listen, I'm not okay. You guys don't know, like, I'm not this skinny person like everybody thinks I am. Like, y'all just see from, like, the head or, like, to the boobs up. Like, nobody sees, like, below the waist and down. I'm not, and even in pictures, I'm proportionate. But if I turn around, like, and you could ask my best friend, my ass is not proportionate to the rest of my body. It is too big. Like the other day, he's throwing like the stress ball at my butt. I'm like, what is with you in my butt today? He's like, oh no, I'm bored and it's a big target.
Oh man, that's brutal.
I mean, no, like I consider myself thick sexy. Like I've gained some weight since my birthday last May. I think I packed on maybe 10 pounds since then. I'm happy with it. I like
Well,
it.
hey, as long as you're comfortable with it, that's cool. And I think you look great. But I'm just talking about myself. I'm talking about myself. I need to trim down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but my thing is that I didn't like the way you said skinny as in. That's not true. You need to be, don't go with the fad because that's going to be eliminated. You just got to feel healthy. You got to feel good. You got to feel, you. I am starting to feel sluggish all the time, so I'm going back onto my, eating properly, a lot more greens, a lot more vegetables. I'll probably drop some weight. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you eat better. I gotta lay off the beer because let me tell you what, me and my best friend.
Carbs are the enemy.
Well, me and my best friend of like 20-something years, we've lost track. We've been friends since kindergarten, all right? So even with me moving through state to state, we still remain friends. Me and her, we threw down, like, we put away a 6-pack each.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I was able to do that, like, I was just warming up. When I was doing 6-packs, I was just getting started. So,
yeah, well, I'm 4'11" and like 115 pounds. So if I drink a 6-pack, like I'm not wasted.
Oh, your house. What are you talking about? You're off the reservation.
No, I'm not. I can listen. I can drink beer like a grown ass man.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, my best friend, he's like 6'2", and he'll look at you and goes, "Yeah, D could probably outdrink me any day of the week."
Damn. Well, I'll tell you what. If and when I ever fall off the wagon, I'll try to strategize falling off the wagon in your presence.
Hell yeah. I feel like we would get arrested.
Probably.
I am a hoot and a holler. When I start to get the drinks, I don't care. Everybody knows I have a disability. I do have a hump in my back due to the fact that my spine like literally pushed my rib cage all the way up to my shoulder blade, so that's slowly going down. So I bought a romper. I'm not sure if you know what a romper is, but it's kind of a one-piece short ordeal.
Okay.
So, and it had crisscross straps in the back, but the whole back was open. I wore it out in public. I was so nervous. I got like a little too drunk, and I almost fought this girl at the bar. But I was so nervous to wear it, and I don't understand why. My best friend's like, "You look fine. Shut the fuck up."
Right on. Right on. There you go. It is funny, though, how, liquid courage works, and inhibitions just kind of go by the wayside. The thing that would appear the most is, like, I don't remember sending that text. I don't remember sending that instant message, so it's like, ooh, yeah. You know what? They should have breathalyzers on phones, man.
Or like, shit, how did you wind up in my bed?
I can't speak to that, and even back in the college days for me, that wasn't so much an issue. But but I can say that there should definitely be a breathalyzer on phones because
I've only had that once. I've only had that like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that moment like once, and that's it. And I'm just. Jesus, like maybe we shouldn't have talked.
Oh God!
But they should have breathalyzer on phones. Like I know if I get too drunk and I'm at the bar, like I give my phone to my best friend and he'll take it, and I'm like, "Can I have my phone?" He's like, "No, you're gonna text Cody. Just leave it the fuck alone. Like shut up."
Yeah. Oh God.
Take my phone the whole night. And now that I have cable in my room, I don't need my phone to stream Netflix on my TV. So he'll keep my phone for the night. He's like, "I'm just going to take this. You don't need it."
I would love to get Rebel's take on that, and I guess Rebel's coming up here at 2 o'clock. Yeah, she has a Rebel in Your Face. Is that coming up here?
Yes.
Right on.
With the engineer, you're extraordinaire.
Okay, all right. So you hop right from me, you bounce from me over to Rebel at 2 o'clock on W4CY?
Yes, I do.
All right. So do we already have an agenda in mind for Rebel's show, or does she just kind of shoot from the hip? What's going on with the In Your Face show today?
sometimes like she'll call me and I'll give her some like intel. Like last week, I kind of helped her out with a show, and I just like, hey, can we play this song? Can we do this? Can we do that? Yada yada yada. She's like, sure, let's just do whatever. I said, all right.
Right on, right on.
But know what today's entail. I don't like to look at what she's got going on just because, she likes to ask my opinion about stuff. I kind of just like to have it off the wall.
Right on. It's the spontaneity of it all. It's the spontaneity. All right. So we're out of time here, people. Time flies when you're having fun. But I hope everyone enjoyed the show with Tuck. Awesome having him on. D, thank you so much, for everything that you do. I love getting to hang out with you at least a few hours a week, because we'll have some fun tomorrow too. But everybody stick around because at 2 o'clock, Rebel Meddler is in your face. And thanks, everybody, for watching Rock Titan Live on W4CY Radio. I'm Scotty J. We're out.
Hey, everybody, this is Scotty J.
What's up, guys? This is DJ Zach.
Hey, guys, you're out with Amber.